Well, good morning, YouTube. All right, guys, we are here at the Iowa truck stop. Katie and I are taking a couple of days layover here on our way out to South Dakota. I think we're on day number 3 being here, which should be our last day. But it's been 5 years since I've made a video on the Iowa Trucking Museum, and I'm sure some things have changed. I don't know what just yet. So I figured to bring you guys along for another video. Maybe we can then compare the video 5 years ago to now and see all what has changed. Now they've only got about an hour until they close, so we're gonna have to make quick time getting through here. Probably not a lot of commentary. We're just gonna show you the really cool trucks. If you wanna see more on these trucks, you can always go to the Iowa 80 Truck Stop Museum website. I'll put a link down below if I can remember. But yeah, you can always check out that stuff in more detail online.
When you go onto the website, you can look at each individual truck and the history that is on each individual truck. It's actually quite fascinating to see how the trucks have progressed over the past, I believe, 100 years.
Yeah, they're celebrating 100 years. And actually, they've been celebrating that for like the last 5 years, because like 1920 was approximately like when trucking started. So, and 2020 was that 100 year. We're 5 years in after that now. But yeah, it's still that 100-year celebration. right, guys, so right here we are going to conclude our tour in front of my favorite truck in here. You guessed it, the GMC General. Wonder why, right? You can see there by the display board that 1987 was the last year the GMC made a heavy duty truck, the last year of the General, which is what Goliath is 1987. So he's the last of the breed. Unfortunately, he's not this good a shape. This truck is just meticulously restored. It's absolutely beautiful. I even love the color scheme on it. As I walk around it, I see so many things that are very familiar parts and pieces that I have on Goliath, and then other things that are different. Like this has got the square headlights instead of the round. It's got a completely different grille, and it's got that outside oiler over there, opposite of where the air cleaner would be on Goliath. But either way, just really, really cool. There have definitely been some new vehicles here that weren't here when we came 5 years ago. In fact, this section of the building that we're standing in right here, from that doorway this way, all the way around, none of this was here last time. These trucks were here. They were just over in the main part of the building. So this whole annex here has been added on, and it's given a lot more room. I think they spaced the trucks out a little bit more. They've added a few trucks. It just makes it a little bit more visible to see all the parts and pieces. I think there's a few trucks that aren't here anymore as well. So some gone, some new, and of course, some still here. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you want to see more details about any of these trucks, just go to the website. And until the next time I see you,
Keep those engines running.
good night, guys.